Cyber insurance. This is a big one. It's not if, it's when. What is cyber insurance? Cyber insurance, again, let me be clear, also not covered under general liability, because a lot of people think that it is. Cyber insurance is a specialty insurance product intended to protect your businesses from internet-based risks and more general from risk related to information technology, infrastructure, and activities. Risks of this nature are typically excluded from traditional commercial general liability policies, or at least not specifically defined in traditional insurance products, because cyber wasn't so big a few years back. And it's getting more robust because it has to be. Breaches are happening, as we'll get into some stats. Coverage provided by cyber insurance policies may include first-party coverage against losses, such as data deconstruction, extortion, theft, hacking, denial of service attacks. Liability coverage indemnifying companies for losses to others caused, for example, by errors and omissions, failure to safeguard data, or defamation and other benefits, including regulatory, security, audit, post-incident public relations, and investigative expenses, and criminal reward funds. If you take credit card payments, or store data on clients, any data, address data, ID data, social security numbers, date of birth. It's a must. It's not if you can get hacked, it's when. Nearly 4,000 new cyber attacks occur every day. Every 14 seconds, a company falls victim to a ransomware attack. Cyber insurance examples: social engineering. Fraudsters accessed a policyholder's email via business email compromise and sent fake payment instructions to a client, redirecting funds to their own account. They also accessed customers' personal identifiable information, requiring notifications to individuals and regulatories. I had a client who had this. Their company didn't get breached. Their website provider, GoDaddy, did, which then got into our client's system and then did this exact thing. Sent fake invoices under our client's company name and redirected them to a third-party account. Not only does this get messy on figuring out who's at fault, cyber can help investigate, audit, get attorneys involved, and the PR campaign, because once you have a breach, you do have to notify every client you've done business with, as well as monitor their credit if you were found that the breach happened on your account. A lost laptop. A thief stole an employee's employer-issued laptop from her locked car. Although password protected, the laptop wasn't encrypted, requiring the policyholder to notify clients and regulators in 3 states. The insured simply called the carrier hotline and legal professionals handled the rest. Again, there's a lot of people that can come to your rescue when you have a true cyber insurance policy. That's what it's built for, is to bring experts in to figure out how the breach happened or to negotiate with them to get data back, etc. But it's very costly, as we're going to get into, on what a breach looks like. Ransomware. A school district was hit by a ransomware attack, locking its servers and exfiltrating student data. The attackers demanded a ransom to prevent the release of student records on the dark web. Backup files were corrupted and forensic experts engaged with the attackers. The decryption key was obtained after a $200,000 ransom payment. Now, what would pay for that ransom payment? A cyber policy. Most businesses cannot even afford the $200,000 just for ransom, let alone some of the things that we're going to get into here. PCI breach, payment card industry. An e-commerce retailer suffered a form-jacking attack, allowing cybercriminals to skim over 500 credit card numbers. The retailer had to notify individuals, state, and regulators and respond to inquiries from credit card brands. This is a big one, even if you take credit card, folks. Whether you're processing that through Stripe, Square, I don't care how you're processing it. Once you swipe the Visa, it's on you what happens to that. Once that number goes in the air, we know that they're easy to catch. And so if you take credit card payments without having cyber policy, because again, any of these payment processing services in your contract, they are not covering any of the risk of you using that device whatsoever. So very important to know that, as a lot of people are taking credit card payments. This is a big one here. Public guest Wi-Fi. They call this the man-in-the-middle attack. A business suffered a man-in-the-middle attack when hackers intercepted data over unsecured public Wi-Fi, stealing customer-sensitive information. The business had to notify affected individuals and regulators, and typically you got to monitor their credit for an entire year, while also addressing inquiries from cybersecurity authorities. Using public or guest Wi-Fi is dangerous for both your customers and your business. I'll use this example. We all know that Target got hacked years ago. Now, Target didn't have a breach. An HVAC company working on their air conditioning was on their Wi-Fi. That is how the breach happened, to give you an idea. But having guest Wi-Fi, if you have that as an offering where people come out to your office, you got to make sure that you're hard-lined in with your data over here, and your guest Wi-Fi is a totally separate internet. They can't be related, because if you're doing transactions at a Breadco. As soon as you log onto their Wi-Fi, they let you know that it's unprotected. So they're not responsible for anything that can happen. Unprotected Wi-Fi is a big one for everybody. Whether you're at a third-party location or you're letting people use it at your office, there's a likelihood that someone can get into the system. Credit monitoring, again, business experienced a data breach exposing customers' personal information. The business was required to provide credit monitoring to affected individuals and notify regulators and state authorities. Again, this happened just this past year with Delta Dental. It happened with Ticketmaster, I believe, was another big one. So anytime you get those notifications where they go, hey, we had a breach, by the way, we're going to offer free credit monitors. This happens all the time. But that's a huge expense to pay to monitor hundreds, if not thousands of clients. Again, why cyber insurance is important. So top 10 cyber statistics. Ransomware hits every 10 seconds. So a business falls victim to ransomware every 10 seconds. Costs are skyrocketing. Global cybercrime will cost $10.5 trillion annually by 2025. Okay? And obviously we're at the tail end of 2024. So that's literally 5 days from now, roughly. Data breaches are expensive. The average cost of a data breach in the US right now is $4.8 million. I don't know, 86% of small businesses don't even make $250,000 a year. 86% of them. You can look that stat up. So $4.8 million, it's not going to happen. Their business likely wouldn't make $4.8 million in its history, let alone to be able to pay that for a breach. Again, cyber insurance, why it's important to have that policy. Healthcare, top target. Healthcare faces the most cyber attacks due to valuable personal health information. Email is the number one malware delivery method. 94% of malware is delivered by email. Again, Netflix fake emails, Apple iTunes fake emails, right? We're all getting these emails. These are an attempt at putting malware in your system to get access to what they're really looking for. Very important to know that. And again, can cyber be added to a BOP? The answer is yes. However, it's limited to about $250,000 maximum. A true cyber policy starts with $1 million in coverage. So by all definitions, a cyber policy is a standalone policy. Totally different. Small businesses often don't survive cyber attacks. 60% of small businesses close within 6 months of a cyber attack. Human error causes 95% of breaches. Why? Saved passwords, etc., etc. We all know what the deal is. Most breaches happen due to mistakes like weak passwords or falling for phishing scams. Again, Netflix, iTunes, to name a few of these fake scams we see most of around this time of year. Password reuse is dangerous. 59% of people reuse passwords across multiple accounts, making them vulnerable. Artificial intelligence is being weaponized. Cyber criminals are increasingly using AI to automate attacks, making them faster, more difficult to detect. Phishing is more sophisticated than ever. Over 75% of organizations experienced a phishing attack last year, with increasingly convincing tactics that fool every tech-savvy user. Phishing is a cyber attack where hackers trick people into sharing sensitive information like passwords or credit card numbers by pretending to be a trustworthy source. Again, Netflix, right? You're going to get shut down. You got to enter your password here. It's not Netflix, right? We got to understand this.